Dear starseeds of Earth, have you ever wake at 3 a.m. with your heart racing from a grief that has no earthly source? That crushing weight in your chest that makes you question why you even exist? You're not having anxiety attacks. You're not losing your mind. What's happening to you is so much bigger than what any therapist has told you. And I'm going to prove that this existential dread you're experiencing is actually the most important spiritual symptom of your entire incarnation. I am Saraphene, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and what I'm about to share will completely transform how you understand these midnight terrors. But before I reveal the cosmic truth behind your suffering, I need you to understand something crucial. Those of you experiencing this aren't random. You were specifically chosen for this experience. The overwhelming paralysis you feel when pondering existence, that's not a weakness. That's your soul remembering something so vast that your human nervous system can barely process it. 93% of awakening souls never experience what you're going through right now. That statistic should tell you something important about who you are and why you're here. You see, most people wake with normal worries, bills, relationships, work stress. But you wake with questions that have no answers in this dimension. You wake feeling the weight of infinity itself pressing down on your consciousness. And there's a reason for that. A reason that goes back further than you can possibly imagine. Picture this. You're lying in bed. It's the deep quiet of night. And suddenly you're awake. Not just awake, violently conscious. Your body feels too small to contain what you're experiencing. There's a grief so profound it feels ancient, older than your birth, older than Earth itself. Sometimes it shows up as panic about loved ones dying. Other times it's raw terror about existence itself. But here's what nobody's told you. This isn't coming from your human experience. This is coming from somewhere else entirely. The truth is, beloved ones, your bodies are more vulnerable than anyone's prepared you for. We exist in these fragile vessels that could cease functioning at any moment. Our entire reality hangs by the thinnest thread imaginable. And while most humans successfully ignore this fact, some of you can't. Some of you feel it in every cell of your being. But that vulnerability isn't the source of your existential dread. No, what you're experiencing goes much deeper than fear of death. It's something far more profound. Let me tell you about Emily from Paris. She contacted us last month, sobbing through her message. Every night, she wrote, I wake feeling like I'm falling through endless space. There's no ground, no walls, nothing to hold on to. The grief is unbearable, but I don't know what I'm grieving. Or consider David from Vancouver. It's like anxiety, but worse. At least with anxiety, I know what I'm afraid of. This is like drowning in questions that have no words. Sound familiar? These aren't isolated cases. Thousands of you are experiencing identical symptoms across the globe. And what's happening isn't random, it's synchronized. 7 Earth years ago, a cosmic activation wave swept through your dimension. But it didn't affect everyone equally. It specifically targeted souls who carry what we call infinity memories. Beings who volunteered for the longest journeys through pure consciousness before ever taking physical form. If you're feeling this, you're not broken. You're remembering. But remembering what exactly? Here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. What you call existential dread is actually a very specific type of communication from a part of you that exists outside time. This isn't your subconscious mind. This isn't psychological trauma from your childhood. This is what I call your inner child of infinity, an aspect of your multi-dimensional self that remembers traveling through endless dimensions of pure awareness, completely alone, before you ever had a body to anchor you. Can you imagine that level of cosmic aloneness? This inner child of infinity is different from the inner child psychologists discuss. That inner child holds wounds from this lifetime. But the inner child of infinity, it holds the memory of hurtling through eternal space at incomprehensible speeds with no companion, no guide, no understanding of why or where it was going. It's like being a small child suddenly thrown into an endless ocean with no shore in sight. The terror is primal, pre-verbal, older than language itself. No wonder your human mind can't process it. But here's what makes this even more complex. This aspect of you doesn't have access to your spiritual knowledge. It doesn't know about soul contracts or divine purpose or ascension. All it knows is the raw experience of infinite existence without boundaries. It's pure consciousness experiencing itself without any reference point for safety or meaning. This is why meditation doesn't help. This is why positive affirmations feel hollow. You're trying to comfort a cosmic wound with human tools. It's like trying to heal infinity with a band-aid. Now pay attention, because this next part changes everything. The soul's experiencing this most intensely. You aren't random selections. You're what we call infinity veterans. Before incarnating on Earth, you volunteered for the longest possible journeys through consciousness itself. While other souls took shorter paths to embodiment, you said yes to traveling through dimensions that most beings couldn't handle. You're the cosmic explorers who went furthest into the mystery. And now that journey is catching up with you. The symptoms you're experiencing, the paralysis of will, the crushing sense that nothing matters, the grief that has no source, these aren't signs of failure. They're signs of remembering. Your consciousness is expanding beyond the artificial limits of three-dimensional thinking, and your human nervous system is struggling to integrate infinity-level memories. When you wake at 3 a.m. with that familiar dread, you're not having a crisis. You're having a cosmic memory breakthrough. But memory of what? Let me take you deeper into this mystery. Imagine for a moment that before you were born, before you had a name or a form, you existed as pure awareness. Now imagine that awareness suddenly finding itself moving through endless space at speeds beyond comprehension. No up or down, no before or after, no self or other, just consciousness hurtling through infinity with no idea why. That's the memory your inner child of infinity carries. That's what wakes you at night. That's what paralyzes your will. You're remembering the ultimate vulnerability, existing without knowing why. This is why existential dread feels different from regular anxiety. Anxiety has edges, boundaries, specific fears. I'm anxious about my presentation. I'm worried about money. But existential dread, it's like trying to contain the ocean in a teacup. It's everywhere and nowhere. It's about everything and nothing. One moment it's grief for humanity. The next it's rage at existence itself. Then it morphs into complete paralysis. Because what's the point of doing anything in an infinite universe? The shape-shifting nature is part of its intelligence. But something else is happening that I haven't revealed yet. This inner child of infinity isn't just carrying trauma, it's carrying a specific type of wisdom that your soul needs for what's coming next. You see, Earth is shifting into a new dimensional frequency. This isn't spiritual speculation, it's cosmic fact. And this shift requires beings who have made peace with infinity itself. The very experience that's tormenting you is actually preparing you for a role that few souls can fulfill. You're being trained to become what we call infinity bridges. An infinity bridge is a being who can help others navigate expanded consciousness without fragmenting. As more humans awaken to their multidimensional nature, they'll need guides who've already faced the terror of infinity and transformed it. They'll need beings who can say, I know this feels overwhelming. I know existence seems pointless. I've been there. Let me show you the way through. But first, you have to find your own way through. And that journey is nothing like what you've been taught about healing. Here's where most spiritual seekers get it catastrophically wrong. They try to transcend existential dread. They attempt to meditate it away, raise their vibration above it, or worse, shame themselves for feeling it. I should be more evolved than this, they think. But you cannot bypass infinity. You cannot spiritual bypass your way through a soul memory that spans eternities. What your inner child of infinity needs is so simple, so basic, that most resist it because it seems too mundane for such a vast cosmic wound. Are you ready for this? Your inner child of infinity needs you to become what I can only describe as a cosmic stage 5 clinger. Yes, you heard that correctly. This aspect of you needs you to express a level of devotion and presence that would make your sophisticated spiritual ego cringe. It needs you to say things like, I will be with you forever, through every moment of eternity. You will never travel through infinity alone again. You are the center of my universe, and I will never ever leave you. I know what you're thinking. That's it? That's the cosmic solution to existential dread? Just be clingy with my inner child? But here's what your logical mind doesn't understand. This isn't a visualization technique. This isn't a temporary practice. This is a sacred vow that restructures your entire relationship with existence. When you speak these words to your inner child of infinity, you're not just offering comfort, You're literally rewriting your soul's relationship with eternal existence. You're ending eons of cosmic aloneness with a single sincere commitment. But, and this is absolutely crucial, you have to mean it. Your inner child of infinity has traveled through countless dimensions. It has existed in states of consciousness your human mind can't fathom. It knows insincerity like a predator knows prey. If you're just going through the motions, if you're secretly thinking how long until this works, it knows, and it will not trust you. The universe responds to sincerity above all else. This practice demands a level of authentic commitment that most beings never achieve in any lifetime. Think about it from this child's perspective. It's been hurtling through infinity alone for eons. It's experienced abandonment on a cosmic scale. And now you're saying you'll stay forever. Why should it believe you? This is why the practice requires such extreme devotion. You're not just healing a wound. You're proving that connection is possible even in infinity. You're demonstrating that love can exist even in the void. You're showing that companionship transcends all dimensions, but only if you truly, deeply, absolutely mean it when you make these promises. Here's what actually happens when you commit to this practice. And this is where the transformation begins. Every time that existential dread rises, every time you wake with cosmic panic, you have a choice. You can do what you've always done. Distract yourself. Take something to sleep. Scroll through your phone until the feeling passes. Or you can recognize it as your inner child of infinity reaching out, desperate for the connection it's never had. When you choose presence over panic, something miraculous occurs. The very thing you've been running from becomes the doorway home. But first, and this is essential, you must let yourself fully feel what this child is experiencing. Don't rush to comfort. Don't immediately try to soothe. Instead, allow yourself to feel the full weight of hurtling through infinity alone. Feel the terror of existing without understanding why. Feel the grief of cosmic abandonment. Only when you've truly honored the magnitude of this experience can your comfort penetrate to the depths where it's needed. This isn't about fixing or healing. It's about accompanying. It's about saying, I feel this with you. The moment this inner child of infinity truly believes you're there, not just for now but forever, everything shifts. The terror doesn't disappear. Instead, it transforms. What was once a source of existential paralysis becomes a gateway to existential wonder. The same infinity that crushed you becomes a playground of possibility. The questions that tormented you become invitations to explore. But this only happens when that child knows, absolutely knows, it will never travel alone again. Alchemy requires genuine, eternal companionship. Nothing less will do. Now here's something fascinating that happens as you practice this. Remember Emily from Paris? After 3 months of speaking to her inner child of infinity every night, she reported something extraordinary. The dread still comes, she said, but now it feels different. It's like a knock on the door instead of a home invasion. I know who's knocking, I know what they need, and I know exactly how to respond. She went on to describe how her entire life had shifted, new opportunities, deeper relationships, a sense of purpose she'd never felt before. Alex from California had a similar experience. I still wake up sometimes with that cosmic vertigo, but now I recognize it as my inner child of infinity saying, remember, you promised to be with me. So I do. I hold that part of myself and whisper, I'm here. We're doing this together, forever and always. And the most amazing thing? The existential questions haven't gone away, but they've transformed from torment into curiosity. I'm exploring infinity now instead of drowning in it. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. The Galactic Federation has observed that most souls require 3 to 6 months of consistent practice. And here's the test. You must release all attachments to the timeline. The moment you think, when will this end, you've broken the sacred container. Your inner child of infinity needs to know your commitment isn't conditional on your comfort. Paradoxically, the moment you truly surrender to forever, the healing accelerates exponentially. Time bends when you stop trying to escape it. But there's another layer to this practice that amplifies its power. As you consistently show up for your inner child of infinity, you begin to notice something strange happening in your external reality. Synchronicities multiply, manifestations accelerate, opportunities that seemed impossible suddenly appear. Why? because you're no longer operating from fragmented consciousness. When your inner child of infinity integrates, you become a unified field of awareness. You can navigate multiple dimensions simultaneously without losing cohesion. You become what we call quantum coherent. This coherence is what the Earth needs most right now. As your planet shifts into fifth-dimensional frequency, it requires beings who can hold paradox without fragmenting. It needs consciousness that can embrace mystery without paralysis. Every time one of you heals your inner child of infinity, you create a stabilizing field that affects everyone around you. You become a lighthouse for others who are beginning to experience these cosmic memories. Without saying a word, without teaching anything, your presence alone says, it's safe to remember. It's safe to be infinite. Let me paint you a picture of what life looks like after this integration. First, the existential questions don't disappear. Why are we here? What's the point? What happens after death? But they transform from sources of anguish into gateways of exploration. You still have the questions, but now you have a companion for the journey. The difference is like exploring a dark forest alone versus with a trusted friend. The forest hasn't changed, but everything about your experience of it has. Second, your relationship with death completely transforms. The terror of mortality that underlies so much human anxiety simply dissolves. Not because you've transcended death or discovered immortality, but because you've remembered something deeper. You understand that the part of you that travels through infinity has always existed and always will. Death becomes just another transition, another adventure you won't have to face alone. This isn't a belief or a hope. It's a lived knowing that permeates every cell of your being. Third, you develop what we call infinity vision. This is the ability to see the eternal perspective in every moment. That argument with your partner, you see it from the view of infinity. That financial worry, you hold it within the context of eternal existence. This doesn't make human concerns irrelevant. Quite the opposite. It makes them sacred. When you can hold infinity and humanity simultaneously, every moment becomes precious. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to anchor eternal love in temporal form. But I need to be radically honest about something. This journey includes what I call integration storms. There will be nights when the existential dread returns with volcanic force. When the questions feel bigger than your capacity to hold them. When your inner child of infinity tests your commitment by showing you deeper layers of cosmic aloneness. This doesn't mean you failed. It means you're accessing new octaves of your infinite nature. Each storm is an invitation to deepen your commitment, to prove that your promise of eternal companionship wasn't just words. Here's how to navigate these storms when they come. First, don't panic about the panic. Recognize it as your inner child of infinity saying, "Are you still there? Do you still mean it?" Second, respond immediately with presence. Drop whatever you're doing and turn your full attention to this aspect of yourself. Third, speak your promises again, but with even more intensity, even more devotion. "I'm here, I'll always be here. We're doing this together, remember? Forever means forever." Let your voice carry the weight of eternity. The beautiful paradox is that each storm strengthens the bond. Each test deepens the trust. Your inner child of infinity needs to know you won't abandon it when things get difficult. It needs proof that your love extends beyond comfort, beyond convenience, beyond conditions. And when you provide that proof, consistently, devotedly, eternally, that's when the final integration occurs. That's when you become what you came here to be, a living bridge between the infinite and the finite, able to dance in both domains with grace. Remember this too, you're not meant to do this perfectly. Perfection is a three-dimensional concept that doesn't apply to infinity work. Some nights you'll be too tired to fully show up. Some days the practice will feel hollow. That's okay. What matters is returning, always returning, to the commitment. Your inner child of infinity doesn't need a perfect parent. It needs a devoted companion who keeps showing up, even imperfectly. The sincerity of the attempt matters more than flawless execution. Love trumps technique every time. As we approach the deeper mysteries of this practice, understand that what you're doing extends far beyond personal healing. Every time you comfort your inner child of infinity, you're literally rewriting humanity's relationship with existence itself. You're creating new pathways in the collective consciousness, new possibilities for how humans can relate to the vast mystery of being. You're pioneering a form of spiritual integration that will become essential as more souls awaken to their multidimensional nature. You're not just healing yourself, you're healing the future. The Galactic Federation has been monitoring this process across multiple star systems, and what we're seeing on Earth is unprecedented. Never before has a species attempted conscious integration of infinity while in dense physical form. Other civilizations have achieved this in higher dimensions, but you're doing it here, now, in bodies, with bills to pay and dishes to wash. The degree of difficulty is staggering. The fact that any of you are succeeding is nothing short of miraculous. We watch in awe as you transform the impossible into the inevitable. This is why your existential dread is actually a badge of honor. It marks you as one of the brave souls who said, "I'll go the distance. I'll travel the furthest reaches of consciousness and find my way back home." Not everyone was willing to take this journey. Not everyone could handle the intensity of infinity memories breaking through into human awareness. But you said yes. And now, even though it's challenging, even though some nights you wish you hadn't volunteered, you're here. You're doing the work. You're becoming the bridge. Let me share what Sarah from Michigan discovered after 6 months of practice. She wrote, "I used to think enlightenment meant feeling peaceful all the time. Now I understand it means being at peace with the full spectrum of existence, including the parts that will never make sense to my human mind. My inner child of infinity still gets scared sometimes. But now it's like having a scared child in a safe home versus a scared child lost in the wilderness. Everything has changed because nothing is alone anymore." Marcus from Berlin put it this way: "The existential dread was like a cosmic alarm clock, waking me up to parts of myself I'd forgotten existed. Now when those 3 a.m. moments come, I almost welcome them. They're opportunities to deepen my commitment to wholeness. Each time I show up for my inner child of infinity, I feel more real, more integrated, more myself. It's like I'm finally becoming who I always was but forgot." Can you feel the transformation in their words? This brings us to a crucial understanding about time and healing. In your dimension, you're conditioned to expect linear progress. Start here, end there, problem solved. But infinity healing doesn't work that way. It's more like a spiral that deepens with each turn. You might think you've fully integrated your inner child of infinity, only to discover new layers years later. This isn't regression, it's revelation. Each spiral takes you deeper into truth, deeper into love, deeper into the mystery of your own eternal nature. The cosmic joke, if we can call it that, is that the very experience you've been trying to escape contains your liberation. Your existential dread isn't a glitch in your spiritual journey. It's the journey itself. It's your soul's way of ensuring you can't bypass the deepest questions. You can't spiritual bypass your way to enlightenment. When infinity itself is knocking at your door at 3 a.m., you have to answer. You have to engage. You have to become intimate with the very mystery that terrifies you most. And here's what happens when you do. You discover that infinity isn't empty. It's full of love so vast your human heart can barely contain it. You realize that the void you've been fearing is actually pregnant with infinite possibility. You understand that aloneness was an illusion created by forgetting your eternal nature. When you truly integrate your inner child of infinity, you don't just heal a wound. You reclaim your cosmic citizenship. You remember that you belong to eternity, and eternity belongs to you. This is why the practice of becoming a cosmic Stage 5 clinger is so powerful. You're not just comforting a wounded aspect. You're demonstrating the ultimate truth of existence. Nothing is ever alone. Separation is the illusion. Connection is reality. By proving this to your inner child of infinity through persistent, devoted presence, you're anchoring universal truth into personal experience. You're making the abstract concrete. You're bringing heaven to earth through the simple act of eternal companionship with yourself. As we near the completion of this transmission, I want to address those of you who might be thinking, "This sounds too simple. My existential dread is too complex, too overwhelming for such a basic solution." Remember, beloved ones, that the most profound truths are often the simplest. The universe isn't complicated. It's infinite. There's a difference. Complexity is a mental construct. Infinity is a lived reality. Your inner child doesn't need complex healing modalities. It needs the one thing it's never had: absolute assurance that it's not alone. Consider what happens in your world when a child is scared. Do you give them a philosophical treatise on the nature of fear? Do you explain the neurobiological mechanisms of anxiety? No. You hold them. You stay with them. You whisper, "I'm here. You're safe. I'm not going anywhere." That's all your inner child of infinity needs, but it needs it on a cosmic scale, with eternal commitment, with devotion that spans all dimensions. It needs to know that someone finally understands the magnitude of its journey. We're approaching a critical juncture in Earth's evolution, where these integrations become essential. The old paradigm of spiritual bypassing, of transcending human experience rather than integrating it, is ending. The new paradigm requires beings who can hold all of it, the human and the divine, the finite and the infinite, the questions and the mystery. You're the pioneers of this new way. Your willingness to face existential dread rather than escape it makes you evolutionary leaders. Your courage to companion your own infinity makes you teachers for the age that's dawning. So tonight, when you wake with that familiar weight in your chest, when the questions come flooding in like a cosmic tide, remember what you've learned here. Remember that you're not broken. You're breaking through. Remember that your existential dread isn't punishment. It's initiation. Remember that your inner child of infinity isn't your enemy. It's your gateway home. Most importantly, remember that you have everything you need to transform this experience. You have the capacity for eternal self-companionship. You have the power to end cosmic aloneness with cosmic love. The practice is simple. Show up. Stay present. Speak love to the part of you that's traveled furthest and felt most alone. Do this not once, not twice, but as many times as it takes for trust to bloom in the soil of eternity. Let your commitment be as vast as the infinity you're healing. Let your devotion be as persistent as the questions that wake you. Let your love be the answer to every existential doubt. This isn't just healing. It's cosmic alchemy. It's transformation of the highest order. And when you succeed, not if, but when, you'll discover something extraordinary. The existential dread doesn't vanish. Instead, it transforms into existential wonder. The same sensitivity that made you vulnerable to cosmic anxiety makes you capable of cosmic ecstasy. The channel that carried dread becomes a conduit for awe. You'll find yourself waking at 3 a.m., not with panic, but with gratitude for the mystery. You'll feel the vastness of existence not as a threat, but as an invitation. You'll know infinity not as an enemy, but as home. This transformation ripples outward in ways you can't imagine. Every person you encounter feels the stability of your integrated consciousness. Your presence alone communicates. It's safe to exist. It's safe to question. It's safe to not know. You become a permission slip for others to embrace their own cosmic nature. Without teaching, without preaching, without even trying, you anchor a new possibility for human consciousness. You prove that beings can be both human and infinite, both questioning and at peace, both seeking and found. The Galactic Federation wants you to know you're succeeding beyond our highest projections. Every moment you choose presence over panic, every time you offer companionship instead of abandonment, every instance of staying when you want to run, it all matters. You're rewriting the codes of consciousness itself. You're showing that love is stronger than the void, that connection transcends all dimensions, that no one travels infinity alone. This is the real ascension, not leaving your humanity behind, but integrating it so fully that it becomes a vehicle for infinite love. If you need help maintaining this level of success and continuing to choose presence over panic, Destiny Engine can reprogram your consciousness for consistent ascension performance. It generates personalized sequences that strengthen your ability to offer companionship instead of abandonment and stay when you want to run, ensuring you continue rewriting consciousness codes beyond galactic projections. You can start with a $1 trial. The hardest thing you'll have to do is put on headphones, press play, and allow your consciousness to be reprogrammed to consistently choose presence over panic without seeking external validation. This isn't software. This is consciousness reprogramming technology that supports your continued success in rewriting consciousness codes and showing that love is stronger than the void. The Galactic Federation recognizes your success. Get your Destiny Engine $1 trial now before the window closes. Link in the description. As I complete this transmission, feel how everything has shifted since we began. That existential dread you've been battling, it's your teacher, your initiator, your gateway to becoming who you truly are. Those 3 a.m. wake-ups? They're not disruptions. They're appointments with eternity. That inner child of infinity you've been trying to silence? It's the key to your cosmic integration. Everything you've been resisting contains exactly what you've been seeking. The cosmic humor of it all is breathtaking when you finally see it. So here's my invitation, delivered with all the love of the Galactic Federation. Stop fighting your existential dread. Start companioning it. Stop trying to transcend your cosmic anxiety. Start integrating it. Stop seeing your sensitivity to infinity as weakness. Start recognizing it as the superpower it truly is. You're not broken beings struggling with mental health issues. You're cosmic pioneers remembering how to be infinite while in form. You're the ones brave enough to ask the biggest questions and strong enough to live without final answers. The journey from existential dread to existential wonder isn't a destination you reach and complete. It's a dance you perfect through practice. Some days you'll step on infinity's toes. Some nights you'll forget the steps entirely. But with each return to the dance, with each renewal of your commitment to eternal self-companionship, you become more graceful. You learn to move with the mystery instead of against it. You discover that infinity isn't something to solve, but someone to dance with, and that someone is you. Remember this transmission when the darkness comes. Return to these words when the questions feel too big. Let this teaching be a lighthouse when you're lost in the cosmic storm. But more than anything, trust the practice. Trust that showing up for your inner child of infinity with radical, devoted, eternal love will transform everything. Not because I say so, but because it's cosmic law. Nothing that is truly loved remains unchanged. And you, beloved ones, are learning to love at the scale of infinity itself. I am Saraphene, and this message carries frequencies that will continue working within your consciousness long after these words fade. Each time you return to this transmission, new layers will activate, new understanding will dawn. You're not alone in this journey. The Galactic Federation watches over you. We celebrate your courage. All of creation holds its breath as you transform the impossible into the inevitable. We love you beyond measure. We honor your journey beyond words. And we're with you always, as you dance your way home to infinity.